Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Myanmar goal.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
We are back. Welcome back to Vic Akers Wonderland. It's been a minute. We're through for the semi-finals of the Conti Cup. Beat LCL. Rusha Littlejohn was a no-show, but hey, let's crack into the Arsenal news. But first things first, Matt's joined me tonight. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm ready for tomorrow. Full stadium.
Yeah.
Bit of singing. Couple of
That'll
new
be-
songs. SB is rolling down. But
When
I'll
isn't it?
let everybody. If you know the men's song, you should know the rest of that song. But first, let's jump into a bit of news. Happy belated birthday to Stina Blackstenius, Alessia Russo, and Marianne Spacey. And we did miss them. We are very apologetic for that. There's just so much going on in the last pod, and so much to talk about, and I'm back. So, also very happy birthday to Kyra Cooney-Cross, the midfield maestro, for yesterday. So PFA Player of the Month is she's red, she's white, she loves a Vegemite, Caitlin Ford. Matt, is it well deserved?
You're asking me to go on stats and things. She didn't have great outstanding, but she was scoring in at the right times in the right places. So yeah, it's a very much 50-50. She's very hot and cold at the minute. One game she'll be fantastic, the next she'll be a very much in the dark, similar to the game against Man City in the FA Cup last week. She just went missing. Nobody saw it. That was it. It was just nothing was working. But then you go to, like, say, the Liverpool game where she'll do all 5-10 minutes. She's not really seeing much of the ball. Next minute, the ball's in the back of the net and she scored. It's a bit of an odd one, but I'm not surprised. But I think the surprising thing is the fact that she won it over other people. You got Bunny Shaw, who scored a hat trick, and Laura James has also scored a hat trick. So it was a bit of a surprise, but no, fair enough. She's won it, and it's another medal to the Arsenal team for the season.
Absolutely. Frida Leonardson-Mornham has reached 100 appearances for the Arsenal. Best Frida moment. I'm going to go first here. It's got to be that Bayern Munich goal at the Emirates Stadium last season in the Champions League. That is just a chef's kiss goal. Matt, have you got another one, or is it the same?
You know what? There have been moments last season when you do look at Frida and when she was gaining a lot of moments where you could say, right, okay, if that's how you're playing now, imagine what you're going to be like in 3 years' time if you're still playing at the club. Looking back, I'd probably say the game against Everton where she scored that thunderbolt, and oddly enough,
Oh yes.
Katie went and scored another one, and then she was like, again, really? But yeah, that game was just thunder goal central.
That was a bit of one. I can do this better sort of thing
Yeah.
for me, but that's still an absolute thunderbolt. Absolutely. Latest news: we'll host Aston Villa at Meadow Park at 7:15 on Wednesday, the 6th of March. Tickets are now on sale. I forgot to get my tickets, and I've literally got them just before we started the pod. Hence why we're a little bit late tonight. So come get your tickets. It's a Wednesday night kickoff, 7:15. If not, we're on the baby. We should be on the BBC. All eyes are on tomorrow. We've sold out the Emirates. We've smashed our record of 60,063 tickets. I'm very excited. I can't wait. There's a lot of good friends of ours coming along, friends of the pod. If you're going, make sure you find your voices, sing the songs. and let's get behind them. Alessia Russo is playing on the right side of North London, well, the right side of the derby this time round. So, and she scored in every Man United Arsenal derby.
Mm.
So, is it time for her to get us a goal tomorrow? We'll find out. Well, depending when you're listening to this podcast, it might be today. But just a little pre-warning for everybody at the Man United game. Get there nice and early. Jonas Eidevall is having his presentation for 100 games with Arsenal, and at full time we will have the Kimmy Little 300 games presentation, as well as Super Gem Beat his goodbye presentation by the supporters club. So looking forward to that tomorrow. So make sure you stick around, and we'll make sure we give Jen PT the send off she deserves, because she's practically part of the furniture, Matt.
I thought you were going to say royalty for a second then, but
Yeah, say that.
I think we've mentioned this so many times, either on the podcast, that Jen's been so important because she's been there for so long. She knows the club. She's been helping both on the pitch, off it, and behind the scenes as well, which is a bit of a bizarre trio, but now it's becoming more of a common thing, which is great to see. And it feels like whatever happens next, Jen's always going to have an option of coming back. I think this one's going to be a great one, because it's going to be one where we want to make up for what happened last season. And oddly enough, Adam's stat on this one, I'm sorry, I don't know if the thing went, but Adam's stat on this one is that Beth Mead has always had some sort of issue in this fixture. She got sent off 2 years ago. Last season, the dreaded 3-letter words. So this time, hopefully, it might be something a little bit more positive.
Positive outcome on this one. I really, really do.
If I remember that incident, I think it was something really silly, like she got a second yellow or something like that. That's why she was sent off.
Yeah,
at the
I think
end.
it was 2 yellows, if I remember rightly. But it's
something
very
really
vague.
bizarre.
Unless it's one of those stand-up moments, it's out of my head. It's a bit like I've on social media this evening, I've seen a video of Bunny Shaw going down like a sack of carrots after Lottie and Herve jumped for the ball. Yes, pun intended, everybody. And basically, a City fan is saying, "Oh, it should be a red. They need to be investigated. The FA need to be investigating this." But the rules clearly say that a retrospective red card can't be investigated unless it's off the ball incident, and it wasn't. So I'm still trying to work out whether violent conduct is in that, Matt. I don't know about you, but that incident, was that violent conduct for you at all?
No, and the reason is she's not aware of what's happening. Or if the corner's come in, Loss has gone to clear it, and Bunny Shaw's just standing there, so she's not aware what's happening, and Loss is just
yeah. And there's no player in this game that will not jump up and use their arms to get themselves to more height.
It was just her arm was coming with her, and whether or not she liked it or not, her elbow was going to hit her face. So it's a bit on Bunny Shaw, but more the fact that, well, if Lotta has it to her side, she doesn't get that height and she can't clear the ball. You can't be asking defenders to jump in the air like fishes. You're always going to have some sort of hand in the air or something like that, and that always causes things like handballs and penalties and things like that. So
yeah, for me personally, it's a minimum of a yellow, nowhere near a red. Minimum of a yellow. So we kind of got away with it, but they won the game at the end of the day, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. And we're out the FA Cup. So we had a lovely little game on Valentine's Day. Roses are red, violets are blue. We're in the semi-final, but you're not. It's the London City Lionesses. That didn't work. Adam's usually better at this kind of stuff than I am. But we saw several changes that lined up against Man City at the weekend. Lots of Moy, Katie McCabe, Caitlin Ford, and Victoria Palova returning to starting lineup. And we also saw our captain Kimmy Little have her first start since December. Just a quick reminder of starting 11s for both teams. We had in goal Manu Zinsberger, Katie McCabe, Leah Cadena, Lotta Moy, Steph Catley, Leah Volti, Victoria Pelova, Kimmy Little, Chloe Lacasse, Caitlin Ford, and Stina Blackstenius start. On the bench, we had Sabrina D'Angelo, Buhardi. I've forgotten Buhardi's first name.
Sarah
Buhardi. I'm so sorry. I will get my head around that.
I had to
Eventually.
think
Leah
about that one as
Williamson
well
was
for a sec.
Leah Williamson was on the bench with Vivian Leah, Frida Leonardson Mornham, Kyra Cooney Cross, Beth Mead, and Alessia Russo. And who was that? Earl?
Maddie Earl, yes.
Maddie Earl as well, filling up the bench. London City Lionesses had Maloney in goal, Fitzgerald, Culver, McCundy, Boy
Clarker,
yeah.
something like
Groves, Joel Schofield, Douglas Carter. On the bench, they had Cole, Satchel, Wild, Dolby, Bailey, Cohen, Jarrett, Uttridge, and Farrelly. Thoughts on both lineups. I was very surprised to hear the commentators for the first time that Risha Littlejohn was taken out of the lineups completely. So that was the only surprise for me. Anything there for you, Matt?
For London City Lionesses, yeah, I would expect them to have gone with their strongest lineup. For whatever reason, they chose not to even acknowledge Risha Littlejohn. Bit of an odd one, to be honest. Maybe she asked to not take part in this match. Maybe.
Yeah, she was at the game though.
Yeah.
There was lots of footage floating around from the tiki-talkers, as I call them. So she was definitely there.
Yeah, it was a bit bizarre. I think for me though, I was expecting Sabrina to start. This would have been her last game to play before she goes off to. Sorry, no, it's not. It's the Manchester United game that'll be her last. So unless the plan would be that Sabrina starts in goal,
complete wild card in goal.
For the United game tomorrow,
Mhm.
then I don't really. I'm not too sure, but we'll wait and see. But then again, that's a bit of a redemption arc right there for Sabrina if she does start tomorrow in goal, especially how it went at Lay Sports Village. But I think nothing really changed. It surprised me, the fact that we were going to go so strong to begin with. I think it was just the goalkeeper was the big surprise for me.
No, I could agree on that one because I would have thought Manu would have been in goal tomorrow or today, depending when you're listening. And then she would have had a night off midweek, but it wasn't meant to be. So, first 40 minutes, Matt, what did you think before we sort of broke through with Chloe Lacasse?
So this was the problem is I've only been able to watch the highlights. I was actually at training when the game's been happening. So
I forgot about that. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. It's just one of those things where you have to watch things when you can. So the highlights you see a lot of, like the first highlight will be Caitlin Ford is having the shot and she hits it straight at the goalkeeper instead of going for the chip and things like that. It goes back to what I said about her, and if she's a very 50-50 player on a day, she's gonna take her moments and she'll score, or she'll be in the right in all the right places at the right times. And it just didn't feel like it was going to be her day from that one shot. Whereas when you saw Chloe score that first goal, it was well taken and it was a really good team worked goal. It wasn't just there was one clock going, like when Chloe scored against Man United, she just took the ball and basically went, right, okay, there's no one's going to help me out here. I'm going to have an effort, and I pray that it goes in, and it does. It was she calculated, everything was calculated, and it just went really well. That was a really good teamwork goal, and it's something we haven't seen of as recently. A lot of the team has been will play it into that 6-yard box and hope someone's there to tap it in at the moment, or it's been unless you're Viv shooting from outside the box, which honestly I would like to see a little bit more of from the team. If everyone's having that low block, have an opportunity to shoot outside the box.
No, totally agreed. Thing is, the breakthrough was inevitable. Like McCabe delivered the corner into Stina, who rose well to head the ball towards the goal. And then Chloe Lucas is in the right place at the right time with a close range header. I mean, we don't get close range headers anymore. We like to recycle, we like to cross the ball in. But it's for me, I found it really refreshing from Chloe, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So we did double our advantage quite quickly. Stina again was in the thick of it. She put down my through on goal, and the referee did not hesitate on pointing to the spot. Grace Maloney, she absolutely lost her shit. Excuse my language, everybody. But as a goalkeeper, should she be reacting like that? Goalkeepers Union.
She was. I think she was more. She wasn't upset with the penalty decisions. I think she was more upset by the fact that Emma Mitchell, who's now Emma McCundy, she was in the wrong. I think she was played a short ball, and that's how we won the ball back. Unfortunately, on the highlights and replays, you don't get to see that whole thing. But just from the highlights, the fact that Stina's through on goal and the goalkeeper's got, well, she's got two options. She stays on the line and wait for that ball to come to her, or she goes out, rushes, trying to meet her, so to make it her options a little bit more simple. No, not simple, more complicated. And the fact that she's rushed out and she's been a bit rash, it happens. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wasn't surprised it was a penalty. I wasn't surprised it was a yellow card either. It wasn't going to be a red because there was a couple of players rushing back, so it wouldn't have been a last player back for that red card. But I don't think there's anything bad there. She's just, I think the one issue I'd have is that because she's dived so early, she's going to take the legs. She's not going to take the ball and pinch it away from Stina. But this is now actually, it does remind me of the time that Stina scored the goal against Wolfsburg, where Froms and can't remember who the centre back was. It might have been Janssen at the Emirates last season, and both of them come to the ball. There's no communication, so Stina just goes, right, I'll nick that, and then goes and scores an empty net.
I think it was her, actually. Come to think of it, I can see them in my head for some reason. I don't know why. But if we're wrong, we apologise. So yeah, no. Second half wrapped up. First half wrapped up, I should say. We haven't even got to second half. What we're talking about. Really, the first half it was great. We had our chances, and it was like we're banging on the doors we usually do in the first half, with no end product. And then Chloe Lucas and Kimmy Little get us to, well, we're 2-0 up at half time. Me, I'm happy, I'm comfortable. I mean, I think what I really enjoyed during this first half was the individual battles. When you've got players like Dan Carter, she knows some of the old guard of the Arsenal very well. I think that one of the most exciting duels through that game for me was Leah Volti and Dan Carter. She didn't give Leah space to breathe. And it was just really enjoyable to see her outsmart Dan Carter, although she knows her very well as a player. But second half came, and Chloe Lucas doubles our tally just before the hour mark with a resounding strike from just inside the area. Just after this, I celebrating Lucas's goal over social media because I'm watching it at home because I wasn't 100%. I thought, I'm going to stay at home tonight, and I'm regretting staying at home big time. Nancy Gillan, she's put a tweet out, and I just want to get your opinion on this because I think she's hit the nail on the head. I completely agree with her. Chloe Lucas is definitely making the most of getting some game time for Arsenal. It may be against a championship side, but still pretty significant given Arsenal's struggle to score at the moment. I mean, I couldn't sum up our current goal situation any better. Do you think through this brace from Chloe, she's going to start for tomorrow, surely?
I hope
before
so.
She goes to the Gold Cup.
Oh, I hope so. And there's, again, it kind of makes you question why some players are playing when some of them aren't. For me, I think it's time to consider that nothing has to always go through Caitlin Ford. She might be vital in your attack, but It's very similar to when Beth was like the best player of the bunch. That's not a pro. Just after the Euros, she was scoring all the goals.
Yeah,
She
her red
and assists.
hot form that she had before. Those three dreaded letters. Is that yeah? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
and
referring to?
yeah, just you can't keep doing that and then expecting the same results. It's not the insanity. It's just this by whatever you want to say, laws or probability or whatever. There's probability that you're not always going to be on your best form, and if you keep on playing and overplaying players, there's a chance of risk of injuries and things like that. So it's just and the way Caitlin is at the moment. I think just putting her on the bench gives her the opportunity to go, right, okay, now that I know that I know I've got to double down, work twice as hard now because I don't have that safety net of always starting. It's you always want to be having a competing side. It's like having Leah back, and when Laura comes back, Laura's got to make sure that she's fighting with Emily and Katie, you and it goes the same pretty much across the pitch. Everyone's fighting for the positions to
You
be in
want
that starting 11. You
yeah.
don't want
You
the same 11 say that the opposition will see it'll be a Katie Zellum and Ella Toom in midfield along
yeah.
with
It won't
Hayley
be
Lads.
a consistent team like Mark's going to put out, for example.
Yeah, and
Your players
you
scores
might
hat trick, you still take them off. It doesn't make sense.
yeah
But if like thing is, I want them to be competing for these spots. I sometimes feel Caitlin Ford is too comfortable.
yeah.
She knows she's going to start on that left hand side with Steph or Katie behind her. So I just kind of, how do I put this? I just kind of wish someone would kind of knock her off the pedestal and just make her realize this is not my spot every week. I'm not guaranteed.
I think
But
that was the
again,
plan with Lena, but because of the
yeah,
injury, that's not really happening. But
it's not really,
because of
yeah.
Chloe's versatility to play up front, right, and left, that actually helps Jonas go, right, okay, I've got options.
Yeah, and then
Definitely.
do you know what I'd love to see? That Lauren Hemp, Beth Mead relationship we have at England.
Mm.
For them to be able to switch throughout the game, it just confuses everybody, and that's what I want. I think that's the one thing I feel like we need to work on, sort of thing, because Caitlin can't really play on the right. She's better on the left, and I want to keep her on the left, and yeah, that's where she should be for
When
me.
she does get on the ball on the right, you'll see her pass infield to the centre and then run off, but she doesn't really get that ball back or anything. She feels it very much looks like she's uncomfortable in that right hand side compared to the left. I don't know if that's because she's got Steph on the left and she's unfamiliar with whether it's Emily or if it'll be Laura on the right or it's Katie. It's just one of those where it's a bit complicated, but she needs to make sure that she's working hard and able to do it. But I think that's one of the other issues is with Australia. She's always playing on the left, and she's always playing on the left with Steph as well. She's not playing on the right. She's always on the left or she's up front.
Yeah, no, I think she's more comfortable on the left, and I feel like it's her safe zone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think at some point she's going to have to come out of that safe zone, comfort zone, and kind of not go invisible if she's put out on the opposite side. But again, people's games can change. I mean, look at Frida last season; she stepped up. So I'm hoping to see a lot more from Caitlin Ford at the moment. 70 minutes. Stina Blackstenius made way for Alessia Russo. And a number 23 made immediate impact. First touch of the ball, head straight into the back of the net. I mean, this is what we want from Leslie, isn't it? It was before the Man United game. I mean, how brilliant was that for a first touch?
You can't get much better first touches, especially if you're a striker. First things you can do to make a difference is making sure that one of the first touches you have is, if you're coming on, is to score. And oddly enough, you've got the right phrase that I've written down. Nice to see Alessia score once again, and it's a header again. So that's two goals now in 3 games that she scored with a header.
Hat trick time. Hat-trick time. It's coming. It's coming.
with Adam, with the amount of times Adam has gone, well, she needs to start scoring with her heads, or the fact that everything's come from her feet.
Yeah.
You just feel like she's going to score a header surely against Man United. Just sort of instant karma for last season or something. It's how it feels like.
Ooh, I'm not even gonna. I don't want to touch that subject.
No, I'm
because
touching wood right now.
It's gonna pipe me in my backside, knowing my luck. Because my prediction was 5-0 and we won 4, so I was one off for this game, and I was just like a little bit annoyed. I was sitting there, like, come on, give me a right score again, guys. So we're now 4-0 up, all nice and cushy. Jonas brings on Vivian Leah. She's 17. She's 17 and she's got her first senior debut. Academy product. She had about 8 minutes plus extra time. Did she shine down that left flank, or is it just me? Her footwork is just sublime.
By the time I did manage to watch the rest of that game, I believe it was like 84 minutes, so I managed to watch that plus the extra time. So she did play, from what I saw, she was playing really well and that she was getting really involved. The fact that you're seeing her do in an interview afterwards with them, very similar to what Michelle did on her debut against Leicester. It helps quite a lot to sort of build that, like, this is what you're going to see week in, week out. And I wouldn't I wouldn't doubt that she'll probably go on loan next season in the Championship, or she might go lower down like Freya Godfrey did and then build her way up so that maybe in 2 years she's in the Championship. But I think we've got this odd thing where we've got a fantastic academy once again, but we're going to struggle with how we're going to implement them. And it might be a case of they might get an FA Cup game now and then, or it might be a case of that they have to go out on dual loans and things like that, like Michelle has, like Freya has, like Leah Harbert has, and Katie Reid, all the Freya, all of them, and Araya Dennis now as well, who's had a really good season with Palace. If they carry on going, I think there's no chance that they can be ignored. And then it's a case of how would you put them into that 25-player squad.
No, absolutely. And we need X amount of homegrown talent as well, which is always something we need to consider. For me, though, during that time, I thought for her age, she's got excellent vision. Just in positional play, the way she's played the ball, and it's really refreshing to see that someone's got that amount of talent at that age. I think I said something similar about Michelle Adjaman, to be fair. But it's always really excited when you get an academy prospect, but I'm also that person that doesn't want to pile half a ton of pressure on them.
Yeah.
I want to see how they grow. So I'm excited that she's got her first debut, got her minutes. She's already got her song as well, and that's floating around social media. If you don't know the song, That's the Way I Like It, but it's Vivian Leah, I like it. But it's something like that. But I might be wrong. You might have to go and check on the TikTokers because they know what they're doing. And I think she was really quite emotionally touched. She's already got a song, and she's only had her first 8+ minutes for the senior team in the Conti Cup quarterfinal. Yeah. It's a semi-final next. I had to think about that then. Do you know what's thrown me, Matt, actually? The commentator, they were, I think, in the interview after, what's it like to get 3 points? I mean, what? I thought I got confused. I think it was the commentator, or it was in an interview somewhere, and I was like, what is this? Is it amateur hour? Where's Freddie Cardi, or where's Tim Stillman? Who is this person?
It was the Arsenal admin. So I don't know if they've forgotten that the league stage of the Conti Cup has finished and that this is a knockout tie. But it also made Kari say 3 points, and you're just thinking, How have you
Exactly.
forgotten that it's not 3 points? And how can you get 3 points? I mean, if we could have those 3 points and put it on the league, I mean, I think people would be happy about that. But fortunately, you can't. But it does. It is one of those things that there are slip ups. But I think that will be on the blooper reel for the season when it gets released.
Yeah, no, I think I've bookmarked that. I'm gonna record it and put some bloopers together. It's just something you just like, what? It's not as bad as Hope. Was it Hope last season? I'm not pronouncing Veen Voigt's name before she got her ACL.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then it's not one of those. And I think she would sit next to Vicky Sparks or P. It's P. Mullerstein?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know her first name. I always forget her last name. I'm actually terrible, and she is my absolute favourite for commentary. So that's actually terrible. Right, let's get into tomorrow. Sold out stadium. The gang are back together minus Adam. So we're 2/3 of the way there. We should be sitting together. If there's a spare seat, Matt, you can come sit with us again. But I doubt it because it is sold out. But how are you feeling about tomorrow?
Well, just to paint a picture, last season was a really bad one because by the time that we'd lost the game, and by that time the traffic was really bad. All the trains had decided that were going to be delayed. So by the time I got back, it was gone midnight. So I don't have happy travelling plans for these ones, but fingers crossed. Like travel, obviously there's going to be a few travelling problems for a few people. Some people are saying that there's a weather warning in place, but aside from that, the actual game itself is something that I look forward to. These other games you look at and go, this is going to be a proper game. This is going to be a proper test for where we're going to be, because if we lose this, there's no guarantee of Champions League. However, we beat them.
Not with the way the Chelsea game's currently sitting.
No. Yeah. Should the we should just say that it kicked off in the first half, second half even, of the Man City Chelsea game, and Man City are winning at the moment. But yeah, it's just one of those things where if you lose to Man United, you're now opening the door to Man United potentially getting that third Champions League spot. So for a lot of fans, I think they want to make sure that we win, so that we can stay in the Champions League fights and not let Man United have that window of opportunity. I wouldn't say it's a door, because there is still a bit of a points gap between us and them at the moment. But it's going to be
nipping at our heels, really.
Yeah, it's going to be competitive. With Nikita Paris on a bit of a run at the moment, Marriott's doing very well as well, and Hannah Blundell as well, also doing quite well defensively. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm hoping that we'll set things right, because how the game ended compared to other times when we played them, we've got like at Meadow Park. Were you there for the game at Meadow Park?
I think so.
Where we drew 1-1. Stina scored that last minute goal.
I don't remember. It might have been, because it was a draw. It's out of my head.
Yeah, it was.
I just want to forget about it.
It's just we haven't had the best of luck, and that kind of needs to change at the moment. So if we can get those 3 points, it's vital. It'll be very much up there with when Lotta scored that second goal against Manchester United for us to steal Champions League, and John Montemero's last season with us. I'm just hoping that we can just continue going forward and winning these games.
Sorry about the face, Matt. Kira Keaton just got very lucky. She got there just before Erin Cuthbert. So looking at that lineup tomorrow, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We normally go out from the back and work our way forward. We're going to start with the front line. Who's leading the line? Matt, tomorrow, who do you think?
It's funny, you're always expecting, you're not getting Stina up top anymore, which is a bit of an odd one, but I think Alessia Russo starts this one.
She has to. as Adam has said, she's scored in every Man United Arsenal fixture, but this time it's our turn. I hope. I'm hoping, but I'm just at the point where I'm hoping the Man United defense doesn't double down, if that makes sense. So we'll just
I
have to
wouldn't
see.
be surprised if Casey Zellen might be marking her all game, but I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be two. Hopefully, what happens is Vib's going to be playing in the attacking midfielder role, so that will occupy their midfield a lot more, and hopefully
Yeah.
draw in the wingers as the wingers, the wide backs. Wide backs. I'm thinking of rugby there. The
I was going to say
fullbacks.
what?
Don't know why I was thinking of rugby. Yeah, the fullback. I'd imagine she's going to draw the fullbacks in as well. So hopefully we're going to get to see the Beth Mead ball, which is her. She gets a long ball through the gap of defence. Beth Mead's through on goal. She takes a touch. A second one is to set it up and goes into the back of the roof of the net, like she did in the North London derby, like she did so against Chelsea. It's the balls that she thrives on. Hopefully, that's the kind of game that we're going to see from our attack tomorrow.
So we've got Leslie up top. I'm going to go for Lacasse on the left and Beth Mead on the right. Who, take away my daydreaming, who do you think is going to be either side of Leslie? Because I know it's not going to happen, but I can dream, right?
Yeah, what we hope is that, I think we're in the same boat, give Caitlin time on the bench and let Chloe run on that left-hand side. The only problem with that is then who goes on the right if Beth is to come off, and that's a bit of a difficult one. If I'm honest, I'm expecting Beth to play full 90 minutes. So I would actually put Caitlin. I'd have Caitlin on from the bench, and then Chloe swaps over to the right, go from there. But I think what's going to happen is that Caitlin's going to start. You're going to have Steph and Caitlin left for the little first 60, 70 minutes. If Beth then goes off, Chloe comes on and we go like that. But it'll be nice to see Chloe start a game again. I think it's been so long since she's had a WSL start as well. So it'll be good to see her.
Definitely. I think our number 10 role, we've 100% already agreed. Vivian Miedemar. It has to be done. We need someone who's got the talent as well as the humbleness to keep Katie Zellum quiet and busy, so that Lesia Russo can actually do what she needs to do and get in the net. Who are we going for the midfield to? It's got to be Vic and Leah, isn't it? Leah Volti, that is. Not Vivian Leah.
It'll be that is. We know Leah's going to be definitely involved in that midfield, and I would actually be questioning whether or not Kim is able to do 100 minutes, the full 90 or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I maybe might see the Kim start for this one, see how she does, and then maybe not come up. Maybe she comes up in the 60th minute, or I know it sounds a bit weird, but might do what Leah did at half time and only play until half time because she don't want to risk it. Although it did unseat us a little bit, but I think in the midfield we've got Vic. I think we've got a lot more faith in that midfield, because that midfield had to change a lot for that, because Leah got injured, Kim got injured, Viv got injured. But oddly enough, no one's.
I don't know why I'm smiling about that. I shouldn't be. Oh my god! But it's kind of funny now we look back. But at the time, I'll be honest with you, I was pulling my hair out.
Yeah, it was very much like
that's why I've got big brown patches in the centre of my head.
It was very much like we don't know what to do here. It was almost like it was the same three always. So you have Freya, you have Leah when she wasn't injured, and you'd have Frida playing as the 10, and then you'd have as the academy players on the bench, which not great, but at least when there's an injury crisis, at least you can trust your academy players, some of the academy players, to be, look, this is what you can sit and watch. But there's an opportunity here to get on the pitch, as Leah has seen, as Freya Godfrey has seen. She came on last season against Brighton. So there's opportunities there for some of these players to, again, show what they're worth when you do have an injury crisis, but you don't want to have to go through what we have. We can laugh about it because
Now,
we've gone,
but it wasn't funny at the time.
no, it was the most stressful thing. I think that was more stressful than any watching
I'll
those
be honest with
games.
you. When Arsenal men were bad, I still wouldn't leave. Even when we've been tanked 8-2 away from home, wouldn't leave the ground. But that game against Villa was worse because we were at home. I knew how bad everything was, and I just wanted my team back in one piece. So I think we crawled across that line in the last season. But this season, do I think we're going to win the league? No. Conti Cup? Possible. We are defending champions. But let's see if we get past Villa first, shall we? I think with the midfield too, for me, I'd start Leah Volti and Kim Little. And then I'd swap them both out for Kyra and Vic. Victoria Palova's been absolutely sensational. Would you swap both of them out, or just bring in Vic and leave Kyra on the bench again?
I think mistakes have been learned. Like, you can't bring Kyra Cooney-Cross on with like 10 minutes to go. You need to bring her on with at least 20 minutes and give her that extra boost. It's not fair to really get that fair assessment. When that Liverpool game when she was playing, she barely touched the ball. Not really fair to see what she's like.
I do feel like she had more of the ball against the London City Lionesses when she did come on for Kimmy.
Yeah, this has been one of my issues. I don't say I don't like a player. There's only if there's something that I haven't. There's potential there, and it's definitely, but I need to see it more in person. It's like when I was watching them before even going to games during lockdown, I didn't know how I was going to view Kim Little, and then as soon as I saw Kim Little play, it was like, wow, this player is exceptional. And I think that's the way it is with Kyra Cooney-Cross. You don't really appreciate her unless you've seen her properly, and not for like 10, 15 minutes, because that's a bit unfair.
Yeah. You need some proper minutes.
You need to keep seeing her play to get that appreciation for her. I think had the Leicester game been at a decent time and not at silly o'clock in the afternoon, that would have been the best opportunity, because you would have been like, what? Wow, okay, there's the player there in that first 45 minutes. Oh, not great, but the next 45 minutes, wow.
I think my appreciation for her has come from not missing a single minute of any Australia game. Because it's the magic of the World Cup. You get to look up new players, and again, my World Cup wish: she's here, I'm over the moon. So, and it's just every time she does get those minutes, you just appreciate her. I think the game where I really, really appreciated her was against Tottenham, the Conti Cup, the one that we drew. Just the way that she was just running that midfield, Tottenham were giving her so much space to do what she wanted, and her pinpoint passing, the crosses, everything was just. It's the Kimmy little appreciation when you're watching a player live. That is the closest I can actually describe it. But yeah, if you are at the game over the weekend,
just to play a little bit of devil's,
just appreciate Kim and Kyra if they do play, because there's no other players like them.
Advocate though, was Kyra playing? In your opinion, was Kyra playing better because Katrine wasn't up to her usual standards in that game, or was it the fact that Tottenham didn't know what to do?
No, Tottenham didn't know what to deal with her, how to deal with her, and that was the wild card for me. Because like it was one of her first starts. It's exciting. I'm bouncing off the rules, because I know what's coming. I just feel like Tottenham didn't know how to deal with her, and the following Saturday she didn't have enough minutes again to settle in and actually have a crack. Well, I think she had one decent shot that went either over or wide during the second game of the WSL against Tottenham, where we lost 1-0. But I just feel like she really needs more minutes. As much as I love Vic, I love Kim, I love Leah, I want more Kyra.
it
thrown
might
into
be a
the mix.
case of that you might have to wait until start of the next season to actually finally appreciate her. And
Yeah,
to be honest, I'm happy to wait and wait to see that she's going to have that potential, because at the moment, because of injury problems and things like that, she's not needed as much compared to maybe what we would have probably needed if she had to come last season. She would have probably got those minutes, and we would probably be seeing more integrated into the scene this season. But sometimes it happens. I mean, look at Laura, and you know what? I'd probably argue Stina as well. Stina's probably more lethal now than she was when she joined us, and she was.
oh, absolutely. Her confidence is just soaring. It's just a completely different height. It's a bit like when she scored. Was it a brace or a hat trick the other day? It was a brace, wasn't it?
Brace,
Yeah.
yes.
She's kind of just, her head's dropped a little bit because she's not finding the net. She didn't find it at Liverpool, which was really annoying.
Oh,
But
she was so
I
close, so close.
exactly. But her head's not dropping like the click of your fingers anymore. And
This isn't like last season with like
exactly.
the run where she was like she couldn't score for anything.
Yeah.
And you go back to last season against West Ham, she couldn't score, and that was down to Mackenzie Arnold somehow managing to pull the wall out
Yeah.
under everyone and
There's
being like, "Ha I
Mackenzie
can play."
Arnold always turns up against the Arsenal. Even if she's erect of a muscle in her arm, she turns up. Well, she did do it about 5 weeks before we played them. But
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise that she was starting there. Because West Ham didn't have any information about it. I had to go through their website to find
they were
anything. Nothing.
they were very, very tight-lipped about that. But I think it's a bit of a guarantee. When Sam Kerr's fully fit, she's going to start against Arsenal. That is a guarantee. But hopefully her recovery is going very well at this point. Back line. No Emily Fox. She's gone off to US camp for the Gold Cup. Katie McCabe back at right back.
It looks like it. And the frustrating thing is the fact that the US have done that to prepare for something that they are more likely to win. With the way it's going I'm not trying to dig national teams or anything like that, but with how the funding has been recently with Canada, there's basically barely anything. They've been talking about bankruptcy and things like that. I believe we covered this on the Fallout. This was just before the World Cup, so let people know that there are issues besides the World Cup going on, and some of the things that have happened since then. So if you do have a chance, we might maybe look back on that. But it's just one of those things where you look at and go, do you need that extra time to prep? Because I'm pretty sure you already know you're 25. I know you've got Emma Hayes coming in the summer, but I don't think you're going to be excuse me, you're not going to be like
The worst team.
You're not going to know.
I think when you look across them teams, they've got the best depth at the minute. Although it's an Asian squad, they've got the best depth. So I do feel like we could have kept hold of Emily Fox for another game, especially this game, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
As much as I know Katie McCabe can do her job and she'll be great wherever she plays. I'm loving Emily Fox there as a first choice.
And it does look, when you do think, you don't actually think about it first, but I remember one of the fans who was sitting next to for the Everton game, she pointed out how quick Emily was, and that dynamic with Beth actually has happened so quickly, and it's very quickly coming together, and it's great to see.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that's what Beth was missing on the right. Do you know what? It's been so long since I've seen Laura Winvoiton play. I can't remember if she's got that level of speed. It's really bad. And I know she obviously done her ACL at the Emirates as well. Hopefully there's no more tomorrow. I'm touching wood right now.
I am as well.
I just can't remember how fast Laura Winvoiton is. I know her defensive skills, but does she have that pace that clicks in with Beth Mead like Emily Fox does?
I think she did. It's just I think Laura might take a little bit of while to get back up there. She's doing little bits of training at the moment, but I think it'll be great to when she gets back on that pitch, whether it's going to be against. I highly doubt it's going to be the North London derby, which is in a couple of weeks' time. But there's an opportunity for her to play against Leicester at the Emirates, and that would be huge. That'd be a huge moment.
That will be
If
a
you
massive return back
if
to where
you
those sort of.
think about all that now, that would mean that all of our you'd expect Leah Williamson to be playing tomorrow. So that would mean that within last season, all of our players with an ACL that was out, bar Taya Goldie, have all come back to play at the Emirates in one of the first couple of games, which is great to see. And as in some ways, they're going to appreciate it even more because of where it happened. Obviously, bar Leah will go to Leigh Sports Village next season. Unless some miracle happens where United keep on losing and get relegated. But yeah, they're very much impossible at the moment. I can wish,
dreaming?
but yes, I'm dreaming that United get a points deduction and all sorts at the moment.
Oop. News can just come on for Ashley Lawrence, and Emma Hayes is sending notes out onto the field. Sorry, I've just seen it pop up, and I thought it's not normally like Emma Hayes. Yeah, no. So we're all pretty confident Kate McCabe's going to start on the right back.
Yeah.
Would you try putting Amanda out on the right back?
That is a possibility.
Because we haven't seen Amanda in a little while. Obviously, Leah's back now, so she's definitely down in the pecking order, unfortunately. For me, my point of view anyway. Could we see her out on the right for a bit of a switch up and bring on Katie to terrorise later on?
I think this is something that Jonas has pointed out in the past, is that if you don't have Katie in the team, you don't have that.
Angry human.
That feistiness, that aggressive sort of character.
Aggression, yeah.
Other times I've called her a chaotically good player, and that's what she does bring the
queen chaos for me. Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
The fact that she was argy-bargy and with Lauren Hemp on the FA Cup last week, it's just things like that where you think, yeah, you kind of need to do that a little bit more, because players just either they stand there like say, what the hell are you doing, or they'll do it back, and sooner or later it's.
But you occasionally get a player that will just shrink to it. They won't rise to it. Yeah. I mean, Lauren Hemp just stands her ground. She don't care. Just like Katie don't.
It was quite funny though, time, they were really joking about it backwards and forwards, something from the camera.
No, definitely. It's the heat of the moment. You're playing for your team. All your friendships are set aside. We all know Lauren Hemp and Beth Mead are very good friends. They're all majority of them are all really good friends.
Yeah.
There's only maybe 3 people that dislike each other at this point. As Arsenal fans, we all know who that is. But yeah, no. Okay, so Amanda, maybe not starting then. It's going to be your centre back pairing.
I think we'll start with Leah and Lotta, but we've seen that partnership hasn't been going for a while, so that's quite a problem. If you play Amanda and Leah, again, it's an untested partnership. Yeah. So
it's not the game to really test that. I'm going to be honest with you. There's too much on the line for this for me.
And if it was say Everton, and this is nothing against Everton because Everton do have some good attackers, but they're the same attackers that they've had in the past, bar Piemonte. So you can play players that you don't know against some players or players that have played their last season, and Lotta can be like, right, this is what she does, or Leah can go, right, this is what she does. Whereas if it was against Mallard and Paris, and if Garcia plays as well up top, whoever's playing up top for United, they're going to cause chaos.
Yeah, we're going to need someone. For me personally, is to secure JC. I think I pronounced her name right. And she after that away game, she irritates me. I appreciate the player, but she irritates me in a Man United shirt. So I think she's going to be one of our big concerns. So is Mallard. And
Yeah.
for me, it's about keeping a clean sheet tomorrow. And I think Leah and Lotta will be the pair to start. And then someone is going to have to come in for Leah because she's not going to be able to. I don't think she's ready for 90 minutes personally. But who that is more than likely to be Amanda for me.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see Amanda on the bench because you then got the option of she can come on either as the centre back, or she can come on as the right back. So there's options there. I think what will happen in goal will also be an interesting one, because of
I'm assuming that we're going for Steph Catley on the left. Then in that case, was it ready for that? We had a back three. I'm assuming that it's definitely Steph Catley on the left.
Well, at this point, it's always going to be Steph, isn't it? There isn't really anyone that's challenging her apart from Katie. If Katie's playing right back, Steph's playing left back. So maybe that's something that we might look at next season, is trying to find a left back.
Yeah.
Not to like, a bit similar to Laura and Emily next season. They'll both be competitive.
They'll be heavily rotated.
We don't want to see Steph Catley injury and then all of a sudden because you've got Emily Fox off at, I'm touching wood again, by the way, people, we don't want to see Katie McKay because Emily Fox is over in the US in the Gold Cup, so she's playing. We've got no one at right back, so that means Amanda might have to play right back because Katie's playing left back, and it just don't want to see things like that. And again, it goes to it's small things at the moment, but it's things that you don't want to see happen. It's just the worst things that could happen right now is we lose more players before they come back. I'm still touching wood, by the way.
Yeah, no, you're touching wood, and Cuthbert's just missed again. It was a nice orange shot. Yeah, that's what I was just watching, and I thought that was in, which was really annoying until the angle on the camera changed. Chelsea seemed to have woken up.
It's taken them a while.
Right, goalkeepers union. Who's in goal?
I'll say every time I get this wrong, I'm thinking that it's going to be Sabrina, and it will be a great redemption arc for her to come to be at the Emirates, get a clean sheet, and be able to be the hero. Whether it's a last minute ditch where she had a save, or it's one of those ones where she's just had a phenomenal game. There have been games this season where she's been a bit shaky. Arguably, I think her best game that I've seen her at is the game against Southampton in the Conti Cup. And okay, they did score a great goal, and there's nothing about that she can really do there. It's just one of those things, but I think if something that could boost her confidence, especially going into the Gold Cup and hopefully carrying on those performances. There's still no guarantees that she's going to be starting, but if she does, it's something that builds her up, and she's like, right, okay, I know I've got this now, and I can focus and hopefully bring that form into a tournament. If Canada go far, she's got even more confidence, and I think you can see it with the men's side a little bit when some of the guys that have turned back up for the clubs with how the African Cup of Nations or the Asian Cup has gone for some of them. A lot of them have come back to basically similar celebrations when the women won the Euros and the Brazilian Rafaeli won the Finalisma as well. So something like that.
Finalisma? No. No. We won. Leah Williamson won that.
Copa America.
That's it. There we go. Finalisma.
Got there eventually.
I was going to say, I was there. I know for a fact that England won that one.
I was there for that one as well. Oh,
that makes it worse.
Yes, because that was a.
I didn't want to drop you in it then. So, because we were both there, we obviously were there with your mum as well.
Yeah.
So that wraps up the podcast for tonight. Matt, thank you for joining me as always. And Matt, Adam, wherever you are, we'll see you next week, sir. Matt, where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me on VAW Pod, or you can also find me on at MattLR28. God, my words are getting mixed up now. At MattLR28 on Twitter. Not going to use that stupid letter because it just doesn't exist. It's Twitter. That's what the website says it is.
Yep, it's called a silly letter, but its domain is Twitter. You can find me at Lottie_AWFC. If I'm not at a game, I'm always tweeting about a game. I've always got a few Arsenal songs going on around in my head. But yeah, if you want to come and see my madness, absolutely go for it. We will be back on Tuesday. Adam is back, and I'm not too sure who's in the hosting seat, but can't wait to see you all then. For now, enjoy the game, enjoy your weekends. Come on, you Gunners!